We are the voices of experiencers because we are the experiencers. It's time for disclosure and it's time for truth because truth brings powerful transformation and we are the voices of change. We are all about evolution on an expansive level, living life without fear and becoming the bridge between two different realities. Profound evolution is here. Profound integration is here. This is the Voices of Contact. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary. I'm a channeler and psychic medium. I'm also a hypnosis regressionist for ET experiencers, and I work with MUFON doing regression work. I also work with PTSD experiencers, paranormal experiencers, and victims of crime to assist them in recall. I'm really looking forward to another amazing show with our panel tonight, where we delve deep to find out what's happening beyond the stars. Thank you all for joining us as we take an extensive dive into the whole new reality. There is so much more out there than we realize, and until now, we have only scratched the surface. Come with us as we explore the darkness of the universe and shed some light on the extraterrestrial experience. Disclosure is here. Now, allow me to introduce some of my most favorite people who are part of tonight's panel. First, there's Deb and RJ DeRoos. They're authors, paranormal and UFO researchers, and they're experiencers themselves. They're founders of the Michigan UFO Contact that happens every year in Houghton Lake, Michigan at the end of September. And they're also owners and managers of Mystical Awakenings Radio, Mystical Awakenings Vodcast on YouTube, and of the Mystical Awakenings Metaphysical Store in Houghton Lake, Michigan. Next, we have Deb Jordan Cobble, aka Deb 2. She was the central figure in Bud Hopkins' international bestseller, Intruders, The Incredible Visitations at Copley Woods, which was made actually into a CBS miniseries in 1992. She's co-author of the book Abducted, The Story of the Intruders Continues, and author of Extraordinary Contact, Life Beyond Intruders. She's a former Indiana MUFON investigator and co-founder of her own paranormal group, Paranormal Underground. And she also hosts the Midwest Paratalk podcast with co-founder Greg Cable. And then we have Dana Stricker. She's a born.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Hi,
Good to
Mary.
see you again.
Hi, Deb.
Good.
Hi, Dana.
Hi.
Hello.
Yay.
Hello.
Together again.
That's right.
My
Finally
first
made it
things
on.
too.
How's everything going?
Great.
Pretty good.
Good for us.
So we're going to continue on with last week's regression. So just a little bit of refresher. She was exploring a memory that she had when she was standing in a room that was all white. And there was a man there who actually ended up being extraterrestrial and her father. And he was giving them flight plans, if you will, of why she and them, with the other people that were in the room with her, had been brought to Earth and their mission that they were supposed to carry out. So we're kind of moving forward from that. And in this next part, she explored an experience where she remembers singing in a high pitch like tone to an extraterrestrial. And she remembers this as it was like an experience when she was, I believe, a child. And she remembers singing this, and the being that she was so afraid of went away for a while. And so she wanted to explore exactly what that was and what the purpose of that was. So that's the first clip here of her singing that tone and what it is.
We're going to go to the time where you were talking to the ET being and you sang to him in a high pitch tune, which made him go away. And on the count of 3, we're going to be there. 1, 2, 3. And you're there now. So what's happening?
I'm in the basement.
You're in the basement?
I'm afraid
Why are you afraid?
because I think he's coming to attack me.
You think he's coming to attack you?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see him?
Yeah,
Ask him what he's doing there.
he's training me.
What kind of things is he training you with?
Fear.
The fear?
It's like the fear and the confusion are training me to use my abilities to the best of my ability.
So, if you develop those abilities, what are you going to do with them?
I feel like these abilities are being developed for an encounter.
What kind of encounter?
With another being from a different. It's like it's training for combat in a different space. I don't understand.
So, this is something that's coming up in the future for you?
Yeah.
And you're going to be combating a different type of species?
Yeah.
Ask him what type of species.
Cool. I want to know.
I know.
Darn it, Mary.
She says it.
So what-
Preparing for combat?
Yeah. I mean, what triggered all that? So why all of a sudden she was afraid of him, didn't like him, and
Well, if you
Right.
remember from last week's, and we talked about her speaking of the father and the regression she did a couple of years ago, where she had a lot of fear when she was growing up, and then she realized that he was a father type being, and he was just there teaching her, helping her. I feel like it's the same one. It's just through the regression work, she realizes that there was no reason to be fearful because she was remembering what was actually happening versus
Mhm.
what she remembers, so to speak.
and the other regression you had with her way back was, didn't she cry that find out that was her father when she?
She did. It kind of blew her mind to realize that, all these years I've been so afraid of fighting it, just to
Yeah.
realize that he's actually teaching me. And it just correlates with the fear she talked about in last week's regression too, right? Like it just shows that even when she was a child, he was putting her through scenarios to force her to face her fears.
Mhm.
And now he's showing her why it's going to be so important to face those fears.
Right, right. Yeah, it was kind of obvious that he wanted her to be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
So that would kick in her abilities and her strength to do what she needed to do. But
Well, yeah, and I think
wow.
too, it shows us, just like any life lessons we've all gone through, where we've been afraid, and then when we got to the other side of it, we realized there wasn't a whole lot to be afraid of in the first place. It's really
And you know
just
what?
fear of change.
Well, fear in and of itself is it's essential for survival. You have to have fear to survive because that's the motivator, you know. And and so maybe it's for her own good, in that way too, that to be a motivation, I was thinking about it, and I read somewhere that people that are into reincarnation, I hear a lot of people say this, that we tend to stick around the same bunch everywhere we go. There's like there's this core wheelhouse that we go back with the same energies.
Soulmate,
Yeah. You know. So there they go.
Disappeared. What the hell? Oh, hold on a second, RJ says, and he's gone. They'll be back.
Oh my God, that was
That was priceless. That was like perfect timing.
Where did he go? Oh, he's doing the camera.
that was like comedically perfect.
I didn't
All of
realize
a
what happened
sudden,
at first.
our laptop, I mean, we're just sitting here like we always do, and our laptop decided to take off. And the webcam went flying off of it. And
Ooh, touchy subject, perhaps.
speaking of fear, that
Nothing to be
scared
afraid
the
of.
shit out of me.
But yeah, I think we talked about that a couple of shows ago about how they say souls are born in groups
Mm-hmm.
and we stick around with each other. Yeah.
Pods, we tend to hang out together.
Yeah.
Pod.
I'm a pod people.
That's why when
people.
when we
bad
all
person.
met, we just knew that we were connected.
Because we probably did this before somewhere else.
Yeah.
In some other way, but similar.
Two souls in a pod, right?
Jeez.
I mean, honestly, I don't know how long I've known Mary, because when I met her, I knew her.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing you and going up, and it's like, oh my God, so good to see you, and hugging you, and I felt like this sisterhood or something. But it's like I've never met. I've always known you.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So, yeah, soul groups.
At least you did say, "Oh, not you again."
Oh, shit.
Ah, crap.
We
You
gotta do
again?
this all over again.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure we have those as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we have those.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
We
got
won't talk
plenty.
about those.
They're my lesson, I guess. I don't know. Or I'm theirs.
Mhm.
Whatever.
I think thinking that you're theirs.
See my shirt? It says immediately no.
Don't even ask me.
Yeah, that's right. Immediately no.
This person must have done something to make her feel fear, though, right? All of a sudden, this being must have done something to her. I'm just curious how that happened. All of a sudden, she switched to a basement, and then she felt fear. But this person wanted her to feel fear.
Mm-hmm.
So how they do that? How they do that?
Yeah, it's
Well, I think it was more because this part was more going back to when she was a child and the fear she had held on to from her experiences with the extraterrestrial. Like growing up, she had these experiences since she was like 2 or 3 years old. And that was her biggest concern with the first regression she did, was because she started noticing that her child was having experiences too. And she wanted to figure out what hers were so she could help her child to deal. So with this specific incident, she was going back to when she was a child in her basement, and she was remembering this being, and she always remembered as a child that she was afraid of him until she did the regression work and realized there wasn't any reason to be afraid. And then for me, it's starting to come out, and you'll hear it in the next couple of clips, where the whole purpose of him instilling that fear was to teach her how to deal with it and to overcome it so that she could continue on her mission. Help her remember. That's what we're all supposed to do, right? Is remember. And that's why when we're ready, more and more things come out. We have more and more experiences in certain shapes or forms to help us continue to remember and wake up so that we can continue to serve that purpose. That's my take on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds perfectly
Yeah,
okay
it
with
was
me. Yeah.
mine as well.
Pretty
All right, so
interesting.
for this next clip, I asked, okay, so it's where we cut it off just to keep it suspenseful because that's what I like to do. Exactly who is she going to be battling, and what's the purpose of it, what she's going to be doing, why is it so important that she battles this type of species?
It's like I'm hearing draconian, but I don't know.
Draconian? And why will you be having to do battle with them?
It's like I keep hearing the same thing. They don't want the earth to be better. They don't want people to see things for how they really are.
They want to keep the vibration the way it is.
They are gaining from keeping that vibration there.
And so how will you do battle with the draconians?
With words.
With words? Are there specific words?
I can't put it into context.
What was happening when you sang to this extraterrestrial being in a high pitch?
It's like that's my pitch. I don't know how to explain it. That's what's being said to me. That's my pitch. I don't know if that's like a defense frequency, but that's kind of what it feels like. It's a defense frequency that you can emit to make people go away.
A weapon.
I want that kind of frequency.
Right?
Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing. Boy, that come in handy.
See, I'd be a good person to say.
Did you see that movie Dune where I talked about they had that thing and you speak the right frequency, the vibration into that thing, it shoots out a ray that over a frequency that knocks people down. Remember that?
We have weapons like that right now. Sound weapons
Yeah.
that can literally
But we
Yeah.
also
knock
have
over
things
bricks.
like
Yep.
dolphins that communicate with those.
High frequency sounds.
They
I
have
love
for
those.
high frequency communication too.
Yeah.
Not keeping necessarily. Maybe they're keeping other things away from them in the water. We don't know.
Yeah.
But
That came out in the 80s, and I think they were just kind of showing us what was coming, That they had.
Oh,
But she has that right in her stuff. It's not even a weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a weapon, but it's her own voice, right?
Mm-hmm. I see it more as like a light language.
I'm refraining from a joke. I'm not going to say it.
Does it have anything to do with the other dub? Because
No,
I'm
it has
thinking
to do
about
with
her
Yoko
light
Ono.
But I will tell you, when the remote viewers did the black box thing on me, that multiple of them made comments about there being more than one species involved and that there were some bad actors here in this timeline that shouldn't be here, that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, that are creating chaos and problems. And they're doing it because they're trying to keep us separated, because together we're powerful.
Right.
But if we have this illusion of separation, then we're easily managed. So it made me think of that when she was saying that. I didn't get
Right.
any bad actor, exactly what kind of bad actors. I know there's humans involved as well as different species of other non-human intelligence. But so I just know when you said that, when she talked about that, that popped in my head. I'm like, well, that sounds kind of familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Anunnaki supposedly that came here were supposed to be half reptilian and half human because they try to do this marriage thing to bring peace among I want to say the Lyrans or and the reptilians. But I think, in my opinion, I think some of the reptilians and some of the humans didn't like this idea and didn't want that to happen. And I think we have reptilian and human in us. We're supposed to get this half reptilian brain, and on top of that, we got a human brain. They call it. So it probably wasn't a good idea to do that. That's what I'm saying.
Well, there's so many different types of beings out there, and I'm sure that we have more than reptilian in us.
The 22 is
and it's it's pretty well known that there are beings off planet and on planet that do want to keep, like she said, keep our vibrations low because it's easier. That's why many people are being brought to the surface to raise the vibrations, because we need that. If we keep that vibration low, we're just food, basically, and puppets.
Yes, but it is too,
I agree with both, Deb 1 and Deb 2. Deb 2 made that good point where, you have I like to call them infiltrators, right? Who are here, the bad actors, to lower the vibration and keep us separated. So, like, that the biggest aspect of that is to see what the big picture is, right? So when you see how everything's playing out with just angry people, people doing negative things, trying to bring us down, how do you deal with that? How do you get past that and not allow, you being in a really good mood and then going to Walmart and having some jerk there do something that brings your vibration down, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad actor. Even the little things, right? How do we overcome that and see the bigger picture of what's really actually going on, where we're all working on building our vibrations, but we constantly run into people who are trying to lower it and bring it down and trying to keep us under the thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline in probably you'd have to learn a discipline as far as letting them say what they say, letting them try to bring you down. It's easier said than done, but I know people that doesn't even affect them when people say stuff that, there's certain parts of my life that people will pick at or poke at or pick on. I'm just like, I don't care. I think it's an age thing too, where you're allowing that to drop your vibration at the end of the day. You have to take some responsibility for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it does drag you down.
Yes.
If it happens over and over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard try not to take it personally, because it's really not personal. It's meant for that purpose only, is to bother you or anyone around you that might hear it,
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just at you all the time. It just feels like it is.
Mm-hmm.
Any of you understood that, I congratulate you, because I just talked to
I totally
get that.
Yeah.
It's a daily struggle for me, and I just
Mm-hmm.
have to sometimes withdraw myself
Mm-hmm.
from all stimulation for a while and just refocus and recenter, because the world is chaos and I'm a human being. So in order to do what I got to do, whatever that may be, sometimes I just have to take what I need, not be bashful about taking what I need,
Right.
I think awareness is a big, big key to that.
Oh.
You know, we all have to stay aware, and shows like this actually help, I think, a lot because we're seeing the bigger picture. And we need to be aware that things like anger and hatred they're derived from fear.
And maybe the
And
reptilian brain.
fear is the lowest vibrational emotion there is. Now, like Deb said before, fear is necessary because it makes us active. You know, it can give us power.
Yeah.
So from that fear, if it, you know, we
You
take the
let it go.
strength.
Right. It's like jet fuel. You got to jettison it. Once you get going, you got to let it go or it'll drag you.
Yeah. I keep a Buddha poster on the bathroom at our shop that says, "Let that shit go."
No, I need
And it's on the
a
bathroom
t-shirt
door.
that says that. I need a t-shirt for my collection.
Might have to make us all one.
Heck yeah.
It's my favorite saying, you know.
Yep.
So, it means a lot.
Makes sense.
There we went again.
That's awesome.
Someone needs to let some shit go.
Somebody's screwing with you guys.
Wow.
That is brilliant.
Okay, so ET's agreeing with me, maybe, or telling me I'm nuts.
Or somebody needs to go to the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah, then I'll.
Sorry, Dana. This isn't the break. And I was, you know what? In my defense, I was just going to the bathroom. I wasn't letting shit go, though.
No, you were good. You were good.
It is what it is.
Out of the song, "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls." It's all right. You're all good.
So our audience doesn't know about this, but this.
No, they don't. Sorry, audience.
I'm not saying anything. That's
Oh.
up to you guys.
We were on break, and I'm in a hotel room, and I had to go to the bathroom, and Dana heard it all. It's okay.
In fairness, I was the only one. The others went to do whatever. I was the only one still on here.
On camera.
And so I hear all. I am the all hearing.
It is what it is.
It was funny.
But I promise I wasn't letting shit go, so it's all right.
He was not.
No, because you would have told us if that were.
I would have not reported it then.
You know what
We probably wouldn't be talking about that.
You would have been like, what the hell?
I wouldn't have done that to you.
I remember
didn't
being
know who
mic'd
it
up
was.
for a show one time and going to the bathroom and not realizing that my mic was still hot. So the sound guy got to hear me pee, and he kind of laughed at me when I came out. And he's like, "Next time you have to go to the bathroom, let me know first." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Oh dear.
At least you guys know each other. I peed in front of some strange guy.
Nothing. It's the same thing as being at UFO Con in the can. We're all good.
No, that's true. That's a good point. In my defense, I didn't know the room echoed that much, so you know. It is what it is.
There.
See,
Did
this
you
is
miss
how
this?
you raise vibrations.
Yes. You have to keep a sense of humor at all times. No
Laughter
matter
is the
what's
best
going
medicine,
on.
man.
If you don't, you're sunk.
That's right.
The worse things get, the funnier I get usually. Then I have to disappear for like 2 weeks.
You did. Welcome back.
Yeah, now I'm like laugh crying, so.
The memory we have created.
There you go.
That's hilarious.
All right. For this next clip, we asked how about like the high pitched sound and the language itself, and what she's speaking and what type of language she's speaking.
Well, ask them. Ask them if that's what it is.
It's our language.
And what kind of species language is it?
It's Palladian language.
Palladian?
Yeah, it's like a light language. It's frequency and tones.
So is it the language you can use against the other species?
Yeah, multiple species are harmed by it.
What happens to the species when you talk to them in that high frequency
It's like it repels them
and it makes them stay away?
and makes them go away.
Are there other places that you'll use this language?
I'm hearing the word hollow, but I don't know what that means.
Hmm.
So it is a light language, Palladian. That's pretty cool.
Oops.
I think Mary might be frozen.
That or she sees something real interesting in her bathroom.
Well, the light's been going off and on all
Yeah, that's
weekend.
right.
All weekend. So,
She's at a hotel for those who didn't catch that
right.
before.
And
That looks
Yeah.
like something out of a horror film, doesn't
it
it?
does. like they got her.
Oh my God, what hotel is she at? Let's go. Road trip.
I'll bring you the equipment. Let's go.
Mary, I don't know what to do about you.
We're still recording. I see. The numbers are still
Yeah.
ticking away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if she even knows that she's frozen.
So
Well, I think she does if we're talking. She has to, because she
Yeah.
would hear us talking without her.
There
There
she
you are.
is. She's moving. Yay.
You don't look terrified anymore.
So-
Everything just froze.
So
Welcome
So
back.
we have laptops being thrown and Mary freezing, looking at her bathroom area with the light. Is what I'm getting at.
You looked afraid. We
Yeah,
thought
it was
maybe
like a
they were
horror
working
film.
on you too.
I was like, what the hell?
So we have Palladian language that keeps the draconians away.
And several others.
Several others.
That was
Is she
we
gonna?
do.
Are we gonna get a sample? Are we gonna get to hear it?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool, actually, to hear what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Now, have
All I
you
can think of is the woman by the Wailing Wall. When they do that.
I can do that too.
you two are so related.
Curious.
Where'd you find them, Mary?
We can't sit together anywhere.
No, absolutely not.
Mary either, though. I'm kind of screwed. You'll have to put me on the floor or something.
Radio host on drugs.
So, Mary, have you had the opportunity to hear it? Did she do that for you? The singing?
Say that again.
Were you able to hear her sing or whatever the
No.
tones?
No, I didn't think about that. I should have asked her. Huh.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
have to
get a
make
hold
that a
of her.
mental note for next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next show, we want a recording of that. It might work.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, they had the sound healing,
Right.
so it makes sense that you would use frequencies and sounds to get rid of negative energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's interesting because sometimes when we go out and do CE5, even Bigfoot stuff, we take the singing bowls and I play the singing bowls and it seems to draw things to us. So I would think the opposite would work as well if you knew what tones, they didn't like or couldn't handle. You could do those.
Somebody
Yeah.
just sent me a link a couple days ago, text messaged me a link to a sound file that that's supposed to be 100% guaranteed to call them in. The frequencies that they use and the clicking sounds and whatnot. So I'm like, okay. And I went out in the yard yesterday with it and let it run on my phone for like 25 minutes while the dog was outside playing. I didn't see nothing, but it
But I
sounded
don't know why my
interesting.
Madar's going off so much.
It's a kind of a cool sound, but I don't
Well,
know.
there's-
Kind
I read dog whistles too, not too long
Yeah,
ago.
dog whistles. Yeah, they've been saying these two guys are saying these dog whistles call them in every time.
that's what this is.
Is it dog
Somebody
whistle?
somebody sent me the link to it,
Yeah,
and I've been playing it, and I'm like, it ain't work. It didn't work for me
I'm gonna get a couple when
unless
we go
they're
up
already here.
to
They are.
our retreat.
They're around you big time.
Yeah.
You have tons of things happen, including the Madar going off.
Yeah, it's called the UAP Dog Whistle Generator, CodePen.io, and I played it, and
Can you send me that?
yeah, I think so. I'll try.
Okay, after the show. Thank you.
It's an interesting sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe if our listeners are interested, one of us can post it or send it to some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild that that's one of her abilities, and I'm assuming that's from past lives on other planets.
Mm-hmm. And I think too that's one of the reasons why, going back to the last clips, that the extraterrestrial was teaching her how to face the fear, was the realization that, yeah, you have this, but when you feel that energy, do this.
Right. A reminder. It is your weapon. And didn't she say she was going to battle or something?
Preparing
Yeah.
for battle.
Preparing to battle.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, coming through the regression, it really feels like more like a future life thing, where maybe not in this lifetime, but for, future soul progression, that she's going to use that skill.
Mm-hmm. I want to hear it. Very, very, very interesting.
Unless you can't reveal it, but anyway.
Well, I'm assuming that she can do this anytime.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the point too. We probably all have skills that we can do. We're just not aware of them yet.
Right.
Superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I can bend things.
Can you?
Are you a spoon bender?
Yeah,
Why am I
Wow.
not shocked by this?
I'm a bendy. I made a whole what do they call it? Mobile out of my bent up spoons.
Do you do it intentionally or not intentionally?
I do it on purpose. I buy them at the Goodwill because they're cheaper, but don't buy the real cheap stuff because they just snap in half if you try to put any pressure on them. But I mean, I don't do like just stare at them and then they bend up, but I put them in my hand and get it really hot for after a minute, and then I just twist it like 4 or 5 times. The metal twists, and then you can feel it. It's super duper hot, but then when it cools off, nobody can turn them back. And I have arthritis in my hands. I can't even open a bottle of dang water. But yet I can bend false-craft silverware. I mean, I can twist it 6 times in a knot, but I got to make it get hot first.
I know what I'm doing
I
after the
need
show.
me one of those mobiles, please. Wind chime. It's a wind chime.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And I'm practicing this stuff where you kind of, but I got to get in the zone first.
So
What
what
was
is
that?
Origami?
It's a piece of it's a piece of aluminum foil that you
Oh, yeah.
throw your chi at and it moves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have only done that one time, and I did it in front of another person, thank God. And it wasn't massive, but I kind of petered out. I got excited and then it stopped, and I'm like, I haven't been able to get it done yet. I'm working on it.
Scares you a little bit, huh?
That
It's
would come in handy.
amazing what the mind and the energy can do. The
I've been
consciousness.
staring at stuff since I was probably 4, trying to get it to bend to my will. The only thing I ever managed to do was flip on a light switch from across the room. That was it.
I have an old audio tape of my sister telling Bud about the time I was helping her. I was like 16, and I was helping him clean the brass handles on my mom's kitchen cabinets, because we decided to paint the cabinets for them in the kitchen for their wedding anniversary. Us kids did, and my job was to clean the handles, the brass handles. My sister took them all off, and I didn't want to do it. I was like 15, and I had better things to do, and I was mad because she made me do it. And so I'm out there, and she's like, "What did you do to these handles?" And she dumps the bucket out, and they're all twisted. I'm like, "I didn't do anything to them. I'm just scrubbing them." And she's like, "You wrecked them." She had to buy all new handles because I twisted like 4 or 5 of them, and I don't even know how I did it.
Wow.
My hands were under the soapy water. I didn't even see it happen.
That anger and kinetic energy.
Because she's lucky it wasn't her head.
Oh,
That's my older sister.
Mhm.
She was older than me, so I was still scared of her then.
So you couldn't do any dishes, right?
No, but I didn't have to clean any more doorknobs after that. Trust me.
Right.
That's a way to get out of it, I guess.
Wow. So we're all learning superpowers here.
Hey,
Uh-huh.
this girl reminds
Yeah.
me of somebody I used to hear people talk about indigo children. You remember those? I haven't heard anybody use that term in
oh God, yeah.
that. She reminds me of one of those. And when I started hearing about them in the 80s and the 90s, I thought, oh, these guys are going to be great. I can't wait for them to get revved up. And she reminds me of one of those.
Well, our indigos are now, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Hush
early
now, Deb.
50s.
Hush.
Like Dana.
I don't know about me, but
But what are the 66-year-olds?
Just star seeds.
Yeah, we're just star seeds.
We're-
Indigos came after us. But I think there's still, and I'm going to say it again, autism. That's our star seeds. Big time star. I don't know.
Star seeds are
I know.
indigo.
I know there's a different name for them. I don't know what it is. But yeah, it's the same as indigos, but maybe different. But they're so knowing. It probably
we
makes
are
no
the
sense
weirdos.
to
I
some.
swear. That's from The Craft. Sorry.
All right, so for this last clip, we moved to a different experience, and it's important. And I'll tell you a little bit why it's important after we play the clip, because it'll coincide when we tap into the subconscious part of her mind. I think it's very important. But in this dream, she continuously has this dream about this gathering place where she knows it, but she's never been there before. And, she remembers it as like seeing a hockey game, seeing a huge hill where everybody gathers, and it's familiar, but she's not quite sure what it's supposed to be. So that's the question that we asked during the regression.
Okay.
Let go of the fear.
Yeah.
The more faith you have in yourself, the more information will come through.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to step away from that scene. Okay. And on the count of 3, we're going to move to a reoccurring dream that you have where there's hockey games and it's a place by water with lots of ports and a big hill where everyone gathers. And on the count of 3, you're going to be there now. 1, 2, 3. And you're there now. What is this place?
I'm hearing so many different things right now. It's like I don't know what it is.
Okay, so let's break it down just a little bit. What's the significance of the hockey game?
This is in relation to a person she knows.
Why is it important?
Because it's meant to be a part of her life. And so we're showing her little glimpses of the future.
So is this connected with the person that she's going to meet?
Yes.
Okay. Will it be somebody who likes hockey?
Yes.
Okay, and so what is significant about the water that's the lake with the ports on it?
That's a meeting point. It's where they meet.
Where does who meet?
It's weird. It's like I keep going back and forth between it being a personal experience and then a third person experience. Like, I'm supposed to meet somebody there, but then I see it from the perspective of she's supposed to meet somebody there too. I'm getting...
Like somebody's showing you?
Yeah, it's weird.
What's the purpose of the big hill where everyone gathers?
There's music there.
So everybody just gathers to listen to music?
Yeah.
Is there anything significant that they want you to know about this spot?
Once we get to this space, there will be peace. But there's a lot of work to do to get to this space.
What kind of work do you need to do to get to that space?
Inner healing, outer healing, progressing forward with the path that is set.
What's the quickest way you can progress forward with the path?
Pursue art and the things that create happiness.
So finding things to make yourself happy? Okay.
Could you guys hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Most
Okay. My internet on my side is breaking up for whatever reason. I don't know. It's starting to glitch. But like basically she's giving hints to how she's going to know the male person that she's supposed to meet. And I actually think, and you guys will hear this when we do the episodes where we tap into the subconscious, where I think this is more future things. She's being shown what she's going to have once she completes the mission, so to speak.
Okay.
And they all hang out listening to music.
You know, and I think, so I'll give a little bit of a teaser. So when we tapped into the subconscious, we were actually shown, which for me is much more positive feedback than we received previous, where they show, you know, the world's going to destroy itself and they're going to come grab us and they're going to take us to a different planet. We're actually being shown if we can raise the vibration enough that we're going to find peace. And I think she was being shown her future life. And so when we tapped into the subconscious part, they talked about how what they're doing right now is gathering enough people who have the psychic ability, the spiritual ability, the mediumship ability, where they are able to raise the vibration enough to raise the rest of the people who are of a lower vibration. And all these people are going to be maneuvered closer to places of water, because water generates energy, right? We've done regression work where, you know, we've asked, Well, so why do extraterrestrials like water so much? Well, because they need it to fuel. They need that for energy. So they're going to move all these people who have all these extra gifts closer to water to raise enough of vibration so they can spread it out to the rest of Earth. And I feel like this is what she was being shown was, okay, so you completed your mission in this lifetime, and this is what you're going to get. You get to meet the person that matches your vibration. That's your soulmate. This is my take on it. So, I guess on me if it doesn't work out for her, but I don't think it lies. I think she's being shown this is your reward. You get to celebrate. Music's frequency. That's why people gather to make music, whether it's going to a concert or listening to a high school band. It's because it raises the vibration. It's music. And I think it's a really positive view of what's out there for us if we complete this mission and raise enough positive energy for Earth.
All I could think of was Hockey Town by the Detroit River and Freedom Hill. Freedom Hill is right there on the river, and they have concerts there.
I see. So, well,
that's
hopefully she's
your
listening,
mind
and
my mind
she'll
went
keep that in mind.
when you talked about the hockey game, and I don't know why my brain even went there. Maybe because I'm old. All I could see is Woodstock and make love, not war signs, and peace, and all of that. And it was fun. So what Woodstock has to do with hockey, I don't have a clue, but that's what I was seeing. And then when she said music, that's where they play music. I said, oh, okay.
Everybody was trying to score.
But it's, it's a beautiful metaphor. It really is. Make love, not war. That's what it's still all about. To me, be happy, raise those vibrations, live in peace, live in harmony, harm none.
We make it a lot harder than it needs to be for stupid reasons.
Yeah. I mean, it's really so simple. But humans just, like to mess it up. So everybody,
people.
Yeah. So people like us are supposed to be raising the vibration and making things better all the way around. And bless her for bringing that. It's not a new message, but it's powerful.
It is.
Think about the power of Woodstock. Some people think of it as, it's where everybody went and had sex and got high. It was way more than that. The whole message still lingers with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went through a stage, I think it was late teens, early 20s, where I went into that whole stage and phase where I really felt like I was born in the wrong lifetime. Like, the 60s and 70s have always drawn me. Like that was the, maybe not the first awakening, but I think very close to the first real awakening of where, in what direction the human race was supposed to be taking.
Right. Yeah, it's powerful.
Yep.
Sure. And it can be powerful again, not saying we have to have another Woodstock, but
well, they do.
I would go.
They have a lot of
that'd be cool.
They do have a lot of Woodstocks down in Tennessee. They still have that thing going on. A lot of people don't know about it, but they still gather like that.
Yeah. They actually had another one at Woodstock, New York. What was it, in the 80s?
Something like
I don't think it went over
Mhm.
real well, did it?
My daughter was there. She absolutely
Yeah, it was
loved
the vibe was different, and we didn't.
There was something that happened there. I don't remember what it
Yeah.
was. Rain or something. It was all mud. Or is that
Well,
the first?
The first one was like that.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Didn't stop anybody.
I am far too young to recall correctly. So.
You are young.
I'm not that young, but I'm young.
We should have a UFO Woodstock.
There you go. Okay.
Play music into the sky, accompanied by dog whistles, and wait and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've kind of done that when we've had Croon come and do the music.
Oh yeah, we have.
It's
haven't
been quite
Very cool.
magical. Mm-hmm.
Are you doing that again this year at UFO Con?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. We haven't gotten that far yet. So it's just been a different year. Things are a little more up in the air this year.
Ha! Good pun.
That's because everything is shifting.
Everything is shifting. Everybody that is like-minded is really, really, really feeling this. And so we're all saying, I don't know what's going to happen, but something is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope it's something good.
Something's happening here. Exactly. It's not clear.
You know, I can sing all those songs word for word because of my dad.
Keeps reminding us.
That was Stephen Stills, by the way. He wrote that song. Probably Stills Nash.
Yeah. So her, the girl that you regressed, her role is very important, and I'm so happy. It warms my heart to know that we have people, especially the younger people, taking that seriously and doing their mission, working their mission. And it sounds like for her, there's going to be a lot of personal gain, but also it's going to help
To the betterment, yeah, everybody else.
So kudos to her. And maybe other people will think about it after hearing this and think, oh, okay, maybe it's time to meditate and realize what my mission is and get busy.
Yep. Everybody's going to be waking up. And that's the point.
Yeah.
I don't meditate. So can I just have dreams or visions or something instead?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not a meditator.
And you might meditate in a whole different way.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
You do readings.
Yeah,
You're using the same part of your brain.
probably, but I'm not meditating on anybody but the person sitting in front of me.
Maybe that's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's part of your
I don't
mission.
even know if I don't know. I never think of it as meditation though,
Mm-hmm.
but whatever. Everybody's different.
Yeah, I mean, I get people that write music and sing or paint or whatever saying, but I can't meditate. Well, you are meditating.
In that respect,
that
yeah.
is meditation.
But I think people like that, or people like me, meditation, the traditional form is very difficult because we are ADD distracted. I can't focus for that, even for 2 minutes without worrying about what I'm forgetting to do, who I need to call. I can't do that.
That's me. And
I've tried it many, many times, but
too much outside. Everything comes in at me all at once, and I would have a hard time shutting it off.
Soundproof.
But you don't have to shut it off. Everybody has a misconception on.
But it's a whole bunch of stuff.
And you're not going to find too many
once.
people that are more ADHD than I am.
It's I can't. I'm like you, Dana. I can't.
Yeah.
Too
I'll
much
think of something
information coming in.
10 years ago that was
both
super funny, and then
manifested.
I'm like,
I can't.
it's inappropriate. I'm inappropriate, okay?
We like inappropriate.
I am inappropriate. I'm the queen of inappropriate.
Fine, then I'm the princess.
That's probably better. They're younger.
Not by much.
Oh well.
All right. Well, that's all we have for tonight, you guys. So,
Good night, everybody.
Thanks.
We love you.
Good
This was a
night.
crazy
love you
show.
too, guys.
This was a crazy show.
That was a crazy show.
I love it.
All right. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.